Hi everybody, welcome. Thanks for showing up. First things first, I've got a real quick slideshow. It's only three slides for you to take a look at today. I'll be talking about support for our troops. Now, of course, this here shows war's hardest on these guys, which is our troops. They're out there getting wounded, they're dying, blood, sweat, and tears. Now, this is back during the Vietnam War where everybody was protesting, and there was no support for our troops whatsoever during this time. Protesting, of course, takes its toll not only on the civilians back here, but the soldiers overseas and the soldiers coming home. Now, this is the kind of reception our soldiers deserve. And this is the kind of reception all the soldiers from coming back home from Iraq are getting. Soldiers came home from World War II and World War I got the same thing. Now, wartime is always hard. It is hard for the countries fighting. It's hard for the people back home with friends and family fighting the war. It's hard for our government to continue the campaign. Above all else, it is hardest on those who are fighting the war firsthand, our troops. It is the men and women, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, and friends and loved ones who are going through the trenches. The ones dodging bullets and bombs that have it the worst. After serving their country, whether willingly or forced by a draft, the treatment they receive upon coming home is just as important as the support they need while abroad. We all know, either directly or indirectly, a veteran of a past or present war. I served in the U.S. Army for 10 years. My brother served, my father served, my grandfathers both served, and we are all proud of what we did for our country. By these stories told to me, and from my own experience, I know why soldiers need our support, how we can achieve this, and why it's important to you. Now let us look at why soldiers need our support. Our soldiers need our support while they fight, and upon their return home. War is tough on those soldiers fighting abroad. There's a constant fear of death. When they go out on patrols, it's full of danger. They could get shot. There's also the possibility that bombs or mines could go off. There's a lack of real family close by so that they can relieve their stress by talking to them. They make their unit an extended family because of this, and those unit members dying causes added strain. Soldiers do better with positive support from them. America united during World War II, and we won the war. Of course, the attack on Pearl Harbor helped to unite the country at this time. America protested the Vietnam War. The news media gave a lot of bad coverage. And the fact is, the reality of war is ugly no matter how you look at it. America once again united for the war in Iraq. And the attack on the trade towers really brought us together for that one. The return home can be devastating, as we learned from the Vietnam War. Anti-war protesters blame the soldiers. They resorted to name-calling, such as baby killers. And there's even instances where these veterans coming home were being spit upon. Even the older veterans gave a lack of support, because they didn't view Vietnam as being a real war. And the lack of support can be traumatic. These veterans coming home will feel left out. I hope you can see the effect support has, but what can we do about it? Well, we can show support for our troops a number of different ways, as well as make amends for the treatment borne upon those who served in Vietnam. First, we need to make good on what happened to the Vietnam veterans. We can thank them for their service. The power of a simple thank you can be very dramatic. If you're comfortable enough, you can even give one a hug. You can write your congressman a letter. Explain it is too little too late for these veterans. Ask for some form of monetary support or payment for these soldiers as payment for their ill treatment when they got back. Give them the recognition they deserve. Some areas are giving them a welcome home parade, even though it's 40 years late. A news report by Nathan Baca, News Channel 3 reporter in California, did an interview with actor John Voight, who's a Vietnam veteran himself, and he is pushing for a welcome home veteran Vietnam Veterans Holiday. And at the bottom of this report that I read, Assembly Bill 717 designated March 30th as this holiday. You can make donations or other forms of support. You can obtain a list of organizations, because there are a lot of scammers out there trying to take your money, through the government. These are all legitimate places you can go to. You can send care packages to friends or family that you know who are serving. You can write these soldiers letters. Give thanks to the veterans that you do know. Now we have the means to support them, but why should we? We should give our troops support for a number of reasons. Without their sacrifices, America would not be free. Our soldiers risk their lives, and some even give their lives for this freedom. They all gave an oath to protect from both foreign and domestic enemies. They're only doing their jobs. After all else, they're only government employees. And it's the government who decides when and where they go to war. In some form or another, you experience the effects of war. Like now, the economy is affected. Someone you know or close to you may be serving or has served. Positive support lifts their spirits. Soldiers in Iraq feared that they would have the same kind of reception coming home as Vietnam veterans did. And they were, of course, relieved to know that they had support. Knowing that they have support allows them to focus more on their jobs. Now, I'm not saying war is good, but we should not blame our troops, and our support for them does not reflect the support for the war itself. We know our troops need our support, we know how we can achieve this, and we know why we should. I challenge you to make amends to our Vietnam veterans, and I ask you to go out and show your support for our troops that are risking their lives. Of course, our world may be a better place without war, but there are ways regardless. Without those people who serve in the military, America would not be here in the form it is today. From the Revolutionary War of yesteryear to the war in Iraq, today, and every war in between, we have veterans and those who are serving now. These men and women fight or have fought to protect our way of life and those freedoms we experience today. Our Vietnam veterans deserve an apology for the way we welcome them, or the lack thereof. Our troops today deserve better than the Vietnam veterans received. Go out and utilize your freedom of speech to thank them today for the freedoms you will have tomorrow. Anybody has any questions?